Hello there, welcome to the AirgunGear show. This is the Sig Sauer 1911 Molon Labe pistol. I will explain the Molon Labe thing in a minute. Looks real, feels real, but it's a replica. Watch on. This is the Sig Sauer 1911 replica Molon Labe CO2 powered 4.5mm BB firing air pistol. That's a bit of a mouthful, but the gun is worth it. Now, it's got predominantly an all metal finish. There are still a couple of other plastic bits on it, like the pistol cover, grip covers there, and you've got the magazine system inside. Of course, that has to be plastic, but the rest of it feels pretty good. Now, it's got an oil bronzed finish. I gotta try and get that right. When I say oil bronzed, I think of something on a beach. But it's got an oil bronze finish in this kind of browny grey tint, and it looks really, really good. Skeletonized trigger and hammer. You've also got, did you see that? Did you see that? That happens when you press the button. Let's be clear, it's got a very sensitive magazine button just there. Look, if you press it, there's the mag button there. Let's just cover that. If you press it on that side, look, the mag button comes out quite easy, as you've just seen. Anyway, where was I? It's got a skeletonized trigger and hammer, and that's very nice. It's also a full blowback action, so the top rail does go back, and you can drop that forward as well. Now, I've got no CO2 in there at the moment, so I'm quite happy to just dry fire that for a second. But you've got that lovely slide rail on the top. You've also got safety pressure just there, which is standard on most 1911 replicas. And if I flip it round, you can see that on this side, on the left-hand side, you have also got the option of a safety switch, with the little indent just there is the safety switch. And you've also got the slide release just there. So if I go back like that, look, you see, and I'm doing this from the other side because you want to see it on camera. I press that there and it slides forward, and then I can very gently ease the trigger forward. So you have got all the buttons and switches that you need. On this side, you can see that it says made in Japan, which is quite interesting. You don't normally see a lot of CO2 guns coming from Japan, but apparently it is. And on the bottom, you've got a nice pick rail, which we shall utilize in a minute. On top of that slide, you've got some sights. They look fixed. And all around the pistol, you've got things like stippling and just general features and feel that you would get on the real thing. Other than that, it's a CO2 replica, but it is a very good looking and weighty CO2 replica. And I shall shut up now and start shooting it. If you're enjoying the video, I would very much appreciate that you press that like button down below. And if you haven't already, please press the subscribe button and ring that bell. And if you want to see stuff before it comes out on YouTube, you can always check out Airgun101.com. Carry on! Right, children, pay attention. This is a history lesson. The phrase Molon Labe first appeared around the year 480 BC. There was a big fight between some Greeks and some Persians. The Greeks, they lost, no surprise there, and the Persians wanted to take their weapons off them. The Greeks said to them, Molon Labe, which basically means, come and take them. And that's where the phrase was first heard. It was also used during the American Revolution when two sides had a bit of a battle over a fort. It's also used by the Greek First Army Corps and the United States Special Ops Team as their mottos. It's also a phrase that is used by US gun right advocates. So it means a lot to a lot of people. At 10 yards then, I've got around 4 magazines in the target. I'm aiming there, the gun's going a little high, so you will have to adjust, but it does show you what sort of a group you can expect. It's a Coke can size group, and that's 4 magazines. To put your BBs in, pop your magazine out, like that. Then you've got a slidey pin here. You're simply going to slide this down. Then you've got the hole on this side. Now look. And I would suggest doing this over a box. Tip it forward. And you're going to spill a lot of BBs. That's it. And then once you're done, you push that there. And your magazine has now got 16 BBs in there, ready to shoot. To put the CO2 capsule in the gun, and it's a single 12-gram CO2 capsule that it uses, Sig have come up with this fantastic new system. You pop the cover off, like that, look, and then you unhook this here, and it drops the pressure plate down in there. Then you're going to take your CO2 capsule, and because of these ridges, you drop it in bottom first. Look. Then you've got to bring this round and push it up to gas the gun. And it does take a bit of getting used to. Let's be clear, it's not the easiest thing to do straight out of the box. You will need to practice that. Then you put the cover over and the gun is gassed, and you're going to put your BBs in, which are in your magazine, like that. But the good thing is that when you do that, you don't get a hiss of happiness, which means you haven't lost any CO2, which is a good thing. A little bit of a struggle, but no loss of air. The 1911 Molon Labe weighs around 2.2 pounds. That's with CO2 and 16 BBs on board. If you want accuracy, it's definitely going to be the first 4 magazines that you're going to use. After that, magazine 5 and 6, you will find that the BBs tend to drop a little bit. And magazine 7 and 8, well, that blowback becomes more of a dribble back at that point. It's 7.5 inches long, and when you do pull the trigger, it really gives a firm thump in your hand, and I like that. Quick power test then, and I can tell you that at the top of the charge, the gun starts at around 470 feet per second, and it drops down in power quite quickly. The reason for that is because that blowback action on top does take up a lot of the power from the CO2 on each shot. Who cares about that though? The thing is just a whole bag of fun. In one take. Second shot, and that was a tit. Second shot, look at that. I'm quite pleased with that. Second shot at about 30 yards, and I nailed that tin. Yeah. I bet if I tried to do that again, I couldn't do it. So I'm glad the camera was running. So what are my final thoughts on the Sig Sauer 1911 CO2 replica Molon Labe pistol? Well, if you're a collector of replicas, you're going to want one of these. If you're a backyard plinker, you're going to love it because of that hefty blowback action on top. And if you want to use it for training, it's an absolute must, because it looks and feels just like the real thing. Do you get the impression I like it? Well, I do, and I'm very pleased with my purchase. Thanks for watching. Please press that like button down below, just there. It's my video, I make them for fun, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Also, if you haven't already, press the subscribe button and ring that bell. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.